Hey sixth graders, we're going to try something a little bit different. So I'm going to go through this purple section of your notebook here in a video, and hopefully this will help you look through some of the directions a second time after we kind of briefly go through it in class. So I'm here on my purple section of my notebook, and we're just going to get started on our acceleration speed lab. So the purpose of our lab today is to find out how our speed changes over the course of time or over the course of a run. We are not going to be going outside today because it is raining. So we're going to test this with some of those rollback cars that we used previously. So we are trying to find out the acceleration of the car, right? So that's what we're talking about this week. In order to find acceleration, we need a couple different things. We need to know our initial velocity, our final velocity, and we need to know how much time it takes for our car to cover the distance of those two of our time or our period. So of those two velocity times that we're looking at. So you're going to go ahead and get your car, you're going to go out into the hallway, and you're going to check out those areas where there is masking tape, and you're going to look at those different markings, and you're going to see that they are 2.5 meters apart. You're going to roll back that car, let go, and let it go. You are going to find out what each lap is. So each section, each 2.5 meters is going to be a lap. And you're going to figure out what each of those laps or checkpoints are, how much time it takes to get through each of those sections. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the lap here. You are going to see your data table looks like this, or your lab sheet looks like this. So this is the first section here, data table 1, and this is the only thing that you're going to be working on when you're in the hallway. So when you go into the hallway, all you need to do is work on data table 1, and the purple section is for you to record your data, and the gray and the white or gray section is for you to record your partner's data, or you can do a second trial of your own. So the distance, if you look here, between the start line and the middle is 2.5 meters. So you're going to put 2.5 meters right there for the distance. And you're going to look at the second one, and at the second checkpoint, you're going to have gone double 2.5 meters, so you will have gone, or your car will have gone a total of 5 meters. So you're going to write 5 meters for that one. And then on the third one, it's going to go another 2.5 meters. So you're going to add that to your total so far, and you're going to be up to 7.5 meters. So everyone's going to have this same information here. And you're going to come and you're going to let go and you're going to figure out what the time was. You're going to click on your, you're going to find your recorder, your recording device. In this case, I'm going to use my phone and I'm going to use a stopwatch. And I'm going to hit start. And I'll make this actually a little bit bigger for you. So I'm going to hit start when I let go. And then when it hits that first section, I'm going to hit lap. Then I'm going to press lap again for the third section, and then I'm going to press stop. So now I have all these lapped times. I have laps 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I can record that data back in my recording sheet in this section here. And then I can do it a second time, or I can record my partner's data in this white section here. When I'm done with that, I'm going to come back to the classroom. I'm going to come back inside the classroom and I'm going to work on doing some analysis of my data. Okay, it says right here, wait to do this until we are back in the classroom. So we don't want to spend too much time in the hallway looking at doing our trials and analyzing our data. We're going to wait till we get back to the classroom to do the analysis. So when we get to the analysis, the first thing we need to do is we need to calculate the speed. And in order to calculate the speed, we need a couple different things. I'm going to give you a second to think about what we need to calculate the speed, see if you can remember. Okay, yes, we need to know the distance that our car traveled, and we need to know the time that it took. So we're going to kind of analyze how much our car moved through each of those sections on the floor, so each of those masking tape sections. So just like we did with our bubblegum lab, we figured out what our speed was for each of those 20-second intervals. We're going to do the same thing here for our cars. So we need to know what the distance traveled was and not what the total distance was. So this column here is going to change just a little bit. So we know that between each masking tape section, our car traveled 2.5 meters. So I can put 2.5 in each of these boxes here to represent the distance traveled in each section or through each checkpoint. Then I can find the speed. So I will take the information that I found. So I will look at the information that I found, and I will take so I need to know my distance, right? So I have my distance here, and I'm going to divide that by the time. So I'm going to find the time right here. Okay? And that's going to give me speed. The next one I'm going to find my speed for period 2. And I'm going to follow that same procedure. So I'm going to use my distance for period 2 and my time from checkpoint 2. And that's where I'm going to put my speed for period 2. I'm going to do the same thing for period 3. Now, I need to go and analyze my last data. My last data table is going to be an analysis to find acceleration. So what was my acceleration for each checkpoint? That's going to be the part where everything's going to change just a little bit. So we're going to use a little bit different kind of calculation. We're going to use our formula for acceleration, which is our final velocity. So the time that we ended up on, the velocity that the velocity that your car had at the checkpoint, at the end of the checkpoint, and then you're going to use your velocity that your car had at the beginning of the checkpoint as your initial velocity. So for the first period, your car wasn't moving, so your initial velocity is 0. For your end speed, you're going to use the speed from period 1 right here. Okay, so we're going to use our speed from period 1 to find our acceleration. Then for period 1. Then for period 2, we're going to use our time and our speed. So our speed from period 2, and we're going to also use our speed from period 1. So up here. And then we're going to do the same thing for period 3. To find the average, we add them all up. So here we have to find the average. To find the average, we add up all 3 of our acceleration times, and then we divide by the total quantity, or the total number of variables that we have, and that is 3 in this case. So we will add them all up and divide by 3 to find our average acceleration over the course of our race course for our cars. The next thing we are going to do is do some graphing. So just take a moment here. You can hit pause if you haven't done this part of the lab yet. So you can hit pause and then come back and watch the rest of the video. We'll be at about 8 minutes exactly, so you can fast forward to 8 minutes when you come back to do your graphing. So now I'm back here and I'm going to do my graphing. And remember that my speed here is on the side and my time is on the bottom. So this is not our distance time graph, but it's a speed time graph. So I'm going to find what my speed was. I'm going to go back and look at data table number 2. So data table number 2 is where I'm going to get my information for my speed. And my time is going to come from data table number 1. Okay? So I'm going to come back to my graph and I'm going to graph my speed. I'm going to find my speed, what my speed was. We'll say it was 2. And I traveled at a speed of 2 meters per second squared for 1.5 seconds. And I'm going to put my point there. You can also use these dots here. You can pick up these dots and you can drag them up here to put them on your points. Whatever works for you to somehow mark that that is where you did your speed. The last part, you're going to graph all 3 of your speeds and times. So you're going to graph all 3 of your different sections. Then you'll be able to see a nice graph that will show the acceleration that you had already calculated on the last data table. The last thing you're going to do is come through here and you're going to do a conclusion. So you're going to figure out what your average acceleration was. Check your table number 3. We already did it. And then you're going to answer this question based on your acceleration data, at which period of the run or experience of the car's trial, did you experience the greatest acceleration? So which one did have the most or the greatest acceleration? And then question number 3, you're going to look at the acceleration again, and you're going to see which one had the least or the lowest amount of acceleration. And then question number 4, based on your acceleration data, did you have any negative acceleration? And when did you have a negative acceleration if you did? If you have any questions, please come to me during class, ask questions, and I will help you out. Hopefully this video is helpful and we can get moving in our lab, and have a great day. All right, happy learning.